Welcome to the Startup Stack podcast, where we do interviews with startup founders and innovators in the Sacramento region. Today, in the studios or the offices of Impact Venture Capital, I've got Henry Chang and Charlotte Danielsson with me. Welcome, guys, and thanks for taking the time to be here with me.
Glad to be here.
Why don't I start off with, many people may not know who you are and what you do, so why don't I have each of you introduce yourselves and what it is you do, and then talk about the startup that you guys have co-founded.
Sure, I'll start. I'm a little quicker. My day job, I work for a telecom company that's based out of California. It's called TPX. But what my passion is apiNXT, and we'll talk about that here in like a little bit. I've had 7 years of nonprofit experience in the region, specifically working with more in the political areas. But this is definitely a switch to more helping our Asian Pacific Islanders. I'll refer to those APIs going forward in the area of tech.
Okay. And Charlotte?
I'm an attorney by profession, Stanford Law graduate. For 19 years now I've been practicing law, but in addition to that, I have been doing, my law practice has been technology company focused. And I've been in the Nordic community in the Bay Area in leadership positions quite a bit. I run an organization there called Silicon Vikings, which has 40,000 members. It had 20,000 members 2 years ago when I started it, so I've doubled it in size. It's been around for 20 years, and all we do is focus on technology and innovation there, and connecting the Nordics with Silicon Valley.
And so you mentioned you're trying to bring companies from the Nordic region, Norway, Sweden, etc., to primarily Silicon Valley, and I was trying to convince you to bring them also to Sacramento, but that's the main focus with that organization?
Yes, but I mean, part of the reason, just sort of in having done so much work in the Bay Area, part of the issue is that it's not just the Nordics that are in the Bay Area, it's other European countries,
Sure.
It's Asian companies, and they all have sort of trade organizations that help bring companies in. Sacramento currently isn't really on anyone's radar, and that's something that we want to change. And so between our experience between working here in the API community and tech in the Bay Area, we've just sort of seen it's a natural link is to use the connections that we have there, the connections we have here, to sort of bridge the gap.
Okay. So you guys have co-founded a nonprofit called apiNXT, apiNXT. Can you talk about that a little bit? What's the origins of it? What's its mission?
So I guess our mission statement for apiNXT is our goal is to help young professionals, students, really fast forward breaking the bamboo barrier. And that can be in areas of tech, it can be in medicine, law, in all fields. We see that there is a huge disparity between APIs that work in those industries versus APIs that are in management or in leadership positions. We just don't see a lot there, so that's one of our main goals. With that comes, bringing hopefully growing a thriving ecosystem in the Sacramento region for tech and tech startups. And I think with our experience, Jeff, that we've had, with Charlotte's experience, with my experience, and our connections, our goal is to make those connections between the Bay Area. And I know people talked about the mega region, and this is truly a mega region. There's opportunities here in Sacramento to get great housing, a great quality of life. You can have a one-income family and be able to have a great quality of life here. But our goal is to make aware the companies that are looking to plant in the Bay Area, or the companies that are looking to leave the Bay Area, that there are viable options just 80 to 90 miles away. So that's one of our goals with apiNXT, and that's us.
And specifically within tech, I mean, we're doing, apiNXT has sort of different areas they're working on. We're working on not just tech, but for tech in particular, there's so many opportunities here. And when we say bamboo ceiling, we're actually, if you haven't heard the phrase, it's actually the glass ceiling, a term coined for the glass ceiling for Asians. So in Silicon Valley, over 50% of the tech professionals are Asian. but only 12% or so are in the management. You have a huge amount of Asian engineers out in this area who also have tons of connections in the Bay Area. And all of the initiatives in this area that have tried to really get tech going have never tried that angle to sort of bring in the Asians into this effort. So, and that's a natural sort of area where there's huge growth potential and huge connections available that we haven't tried at all.
So maybe this is my ignorance here. What are some of the impediments? What constitutes the bamboo ceiling? What are the impediments that are keeping the Asians and the engineers, the tech guys, from rising into management?
Well, a lot of it is, I mean, there's different things if you look at, and that's part of what our conference is going to address, but there's a thing called implicit bias where basically you pick people who are like you in order to advance. So some of it is sort of an unconscious bias that we aren't aware of when we're choosing people, which is the same reason why women don't get promoted the way that they should. And then in addition to that, there's a lack of understanding. People kind of think that, oh, okay, well, we need diversity in order to, because we're good people, we're going to try and get diversity. There's a lack of understanding that diversity actually has been statistically shown to really increase innovation, which is why all of the larger tech companies now are actually creating these positions called Chief Diversity Officer, because they've kind of realized that, hey, we get a better outcome, we get more innovation, we get more profitability. It isn't just being nice, it's actually better
It's
for
good for
companies.
the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the ways that tech companies, businesses can improve that diversity ratio? What can we do to break down the bamboo and the glass ceilings?
One is really being aware of
Just
it.
being aware?
Training in the area. Some of it is sort of on the API side, doing more leadership and entrepreneurship training. I mean, that's something I think we see a lot of in the Bay Area, not as much in Sacramento, or not as much as there could be. And we've seen, for example, with my work with the Nordic countries, these are countries that aren't really natural innovation places that you think of, like Silicon Valley, where it naturally sprung up, but they have really thriving tech ecosystems because they have actually put real effort into training entrepreneurs, and they instill the entrepreneurship sort of down to all levels of education in all parts of companies, and so that's something that I think Sacramento can actually learn a lot from.
Yeah.
But I think, as an API community in general, we're taught to be really good workers, taught to be very good students, but we're not taught skills to really promote ourselves. We're taught to work hard and be quiet. And that's something where as APIs, we need to learn how to network.
And that's a cultural thing?
It's definitely a cultural thing, and I think even with our interns, I mean, we have our intern here, Sarah, today. I think she's an API. She definitely qualifies, but our whole goal there is to work from grassroots to help students, how to do public speaking, how to network, how to really promote yourself. And I think it's inherent with other ethnic groups, but with the APIs, it's something that needs to be taught, something that needs to be learned, something that needs mentors. So that's what we're really looking for. So grassroots with the students, grassroots with our young professionals, and top down with community leaders that are already in those positions. And there's some out there that we're definitely asking for help for.
So you've mentioned working here in Sacramento. Is Sacramento your only focus, your primary focus for apiNXT? What's the geographic region that you're encompassing?
It is all of California ultimately, but we have different focuses in different areas. So in the Bay Area, we've done partnered in different pitch competitions and student types of events. For Sacramento in particular, the goal is really to accelerate the growth of the tech ecosystem here by getting Asian engineers involved. And we have now a tech council, as we call them, we're up to 55 engineers and professionals in Sacramento who are from a variety of companies in the area who we're asking sort of and putting together, what do we need? What do you all need from this area? How do we do this? which is a unique sort of way of doing it. It's not top down, it really is a grassroots.
Right. What we're hearing from our tech council, why do they move out here? And it's they either got a job at a large tech company, HP, Intel, and at first a lot of them resisted. They came from the Bay Area. They got out here, they moved to the suburbs and loved it. I mean, the quality of life here is amazing compared to compared to the Bay Area. Housing costs a lot less. The ability to raise a family here with one income family even. Right. That's a possibility. If you're in the Bay Area, it's a lot more difficult. You gotta typically have a 2-income family, at least making $200,000 a year to afford an average house on the peninsula.
Yeah, there was an article in the Sacramento Bee just the other day that even a 6-figure income for a family is considered low income in the Bay Area, which is astounding.
Which in the Roosevelt, I mean, within the Sacramento region, a 6-figure income, that's enough to get by with a nice house. It's a nice, it's the ability to be in a nice school district. There are a lot of options.
Yeah. I mean, as a 5-digit income earner, I can contest that it's much more livable here. So you mentioned earlier on a tech summit or conference. Yes. You've got a big conference coming up, the Accelerate Tech Summit on May 6th. Why don't you talk about that and what are, I mean, it sounds like a really great lineup you've got coming up, a lot of great things. Tell us a little bit about that, and if you can show that if you'd like, actually. Let's see if we can.
It's black and white.
Okay, see there? Let's see. This is kind of cheesy, I know.
We'll
have this on the website.
Excellent. We'll have it in color. So we're excited about our first tech summit this year. We've done tech events in the Bay Area with apiNXT, but this is by far, I think, our largest one. We have 15 speakers. We have speakers from Lyft. We have people from Uber, Symantec. We have a team of people that are flying out from the East Coast from Humana Healthcare. So we're very excited about having them out here. We have a girl who's 9 years old. She's amazing. She is part of this organization, or she started this organization called Code Bunnies.
Code Bunnies?
Coder Bunnies. And she has developed a board game that teaches kids how to code. So she's had many speaking engagements, and I think she'll be one of our next API leaders.
Awesome. So is she here locally, or?
She's out of the Bay Area. So.
Yeah, 9 of our 15 speakers are from the Bay Area. They really believed in this concept of being able to stimulate tech growth here in Sacramento by reaching out to the API community here locally. So they all said, yeah, we'll come out to Sacramento on a Saturday on our day off to come speak. So
hopefully we have awesome weather. It'll be better than the Bay Area.
And we have quite a few venture capitalists. We have one from Maverin, which is the main sort of consumer startup, nonprofit and venture capital firm in the Bay Area. We have 2 local ones here.
Yeah, Lakesh from Moneta and Jack from where we're at right now, Impact VC.
Nice. Awesome. And we have also a gentleman from Ford US, and that was an organization started by Zuckerberg to really promote tech immigration issues. So we're looking forward to having a good panel with him.
So what can people expect from that? Lots of keynote speakers, 15 of them, I think you said.
Around panels.
Keynotes and panels, depending on the topic. So we're doing a sort of variety of topics over that time period. One is we're going to have some keynotes who are just talking about the latest trends in innovation, so kind of the what's coming next and what's happening. And then there'll be something on implicit bias, on what's the topic? The link between innovation and diversity, or diversity, how diversity actually increases innovation and profitability in companies. We have someone speaking specifically on women in technology as a focus. And we're also doing, as Henry mentioned, an immigration panel which sort of talks about the impact with the recent immigration changes, what will happen with the impact it will have on technology companies and how the companies themselves are responding to this. And we have a segment as well specifically on with local people here, local tech ecosystem people, talking about how to accelerate growth in Sacramento.
We have And we have over a dozen startup companies that are going to be at this event. They're going to be displaying at the event as well. But there's one in particular that I'm really excited about. I mean, they're all exciting. But there's one that's called AutoX. And they are a startup company that's less than a year old. They're founded by a professor from Princeton who started their robotics and their artificial intelligence lab. He's since left Princeton in his professorship to start a company in the Bay Area, unfortunately. But he's close enough, so we can probably get him. But it is a self-driving car company, totally based on artificial intelligence. They're running their cars right now. They have a working prototype with off-the-shelf components, off-the-shelf cameras you can get like at Fry's or Best Buy. So real exciting.
So we need to hook him up with the local city leaders who just got the designation,
exactly.
or the SAC SAC Autos, designating the urban core here as an autonomous vehicle testing zone and setting standards.
That'd be a perfect extension. We even have some students from our local robotics club, high school robotics club. So they're going to have a booth. They're really excited about talking to this Professor X. I think it's a real big extension of what they're doing, going from like a little robot to a car.
Uh-huh.
So that should be fun.
Cool.
The idea is, we've been reaching out to different STEM clubs at Sac State and UC Davis to try and get engineering students and business students as well involved, because we lose a lot of our engineering talent to other areas, and so we really want them to see that, hey, there's potential here. And one of the reasons we brought some new speakers out from the Bay Area too is so that we can really start this trend of showing off this area. Because the more speakers we get from there, the more talk there'll be in the Bay Area about, hey, Sacramento's actually an
create a
option.
buzz. Yeah. Awesome. So that is Saturday, May 6th from 1 till 4 p.m.
Right.
So where can people sign up? And it's free, right?
It's a free event. You can look us up on Facebook at apiNXT. We have an Eventbrite sign up, so please sign up. I think we're over 200 signups right now. I think the space holds 300.
Yeah, where is it going to be?
It's at Epic Bible College, Epic College, off of where the 80 split is, off of Auburn Boulevard.
Okay.
I think it's 63, or I forget.
Okay, well, we'll put the details on startupsac.com.
And the registration can be just through our website, which is www.apiNXT.org.
Okay, awesome. Looking forward to that. Are there what other plans or goals, objectives, or projects you guys have coming up this year?
Well, this is I think this is our launch event for this region. We're looking to restart events, probably smaller, almost more intimate events with tech leaders in Q3 of this year. And we'll probably host it up in the Elks Tower or somewhere local downtown. But maybe get about 100 of our best friends together and have a keynote and a mixer, so something more intimate going forward.
Awesome.
And really, what we're after this event, we're kind of going to reconvene with our tech council and sort of with the feedback of what we get from the speakers and the startups who are displaying at the event, and sort of see where the synergies come up. We've had a lot of people contacting us over the last couple of weeks about partnering on things here in Sacramento, and so we'll see or strategize a little bit more with everyone to say what are the next steps to really accelerate this forward. So this is the big launch, and then there will be a definite sort of follow through with events. And
awesome. I was really pleased when I just discovered you guys myself. I met Henry at a GSAC luncheon where Manon, the guy from Unshackled, was here meeting with Barry Broom and people, and Henry was there. And it was a great surprise to find out about apiNXT, and I'm really looking forward to getting you guys connected with the whole community and vice versa.
Looking forward to it.
Anything else you guys would like to share before we sign off?
Anything else?
No, just that, we're open to partnering with anyone who's interested, we're very open to collaborations and welcome that at all levels. I mean, we know there's already a tech ecosystem here that's sort of working. We're not looking to replace anyone or compete with anyone. We're actually looking to supplement with things.
And I think there'll be a lot of good collaborative opportunities with some other organizations here. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. And again, apiNXT.com is where people can find you. And Twitter and Facebook and all that too.
Yes.
On there. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for your time and good luck, and look forward to the event on Saturday the 6th.
Great.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jeff.